So I'm going to come back to the solutions in a bit, Guy, but one of the things that really strikes you if you read Guy's book or engage with his thesis are exactly these things, that it's a psychological condition, it's a sense of anxiety and precariousness, instability that a lot of us, even sitting in this room, would vibe with, and also that perhaps it's the first time in the world that Guy has spotted the creation of a class that cuts across class, you know. So he speaks about how it could be climate change, it could be robotization, it could be artificial intelligence, it could be politics and conflict, what the source of displacement is. It could be neoliberal policies, it could be the labor reform that we're always asking for. What that cause for instability and precariousness is manifold, but the end product is the class that he's describing, and the impacts of that class are cutting across all of us, whether it's in France or Putin or Brazil or America or India or Pakistan, anywhere. The political impacts of that are all very, very similar and follow a pattern. And now that brings us to the solution, Guy, which is fairly contested as well. You are a great advocate, and as I said, 30 years back, you were talking about basic income. Everyone thought you're crazy. Nobody wanted to listen to you. Today, Rahul Gandhi is talking about a minimum income. Arvind Subramaniam put out a white paper on basic income. If both sides would have it, BJP would put out a plan, and Rahul Gandhi would put out a plan, and we'd be discussing only this if Pulwama strikes had not happened. So explain to us about basic income.
Well, imagine if you were in my place, and for 30 years you've been advocating a particular idea, and suddenly you get an opportunity to put that idea into practice, into reality. What's happened in Africa, we've been doing pilots in Africa, where we've given every man, every woman, every child a basic income. And then in 2009, I got an opportunity to work with Sewa and friends here in India, and we launched pilots in Madhya Pradesh and West Delhi, where we provided thousands of men and women and children with a very modest basic income, without condition. And we said in those villages, we said, you can do what you like with the money. We're giving it to you. We're not telling you how to spend it. We're not telling you if you'll lose it if you don't spend it in certain ways. It's up to you. And I remember a very, 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 very senior politician in this country inviting us to explain. And this very, very, very senior politician said, you're mad. They'll waste it on alcohol and tobacco, and they'll stop working. And we said, why? Would you do that? Would you do that? If we give you 300 rupees per person? You're not going to do that. These people are no different from you. So let's see. So over the course of several years, we provided every one of those villages with that money. And what we saw was that nutrition improved, health improved, healthcare improved, sanitation improved, work increased. Watch my lips. Work increased. Output, agricultural output increased. Women's status improved. The book has the data. And we saw this in action, and at the end of the several years, all the villagers said, please continue. And I kept going to the villages, and I said to myself, how come we're seeing all these things with just a modest amount? Hardly anything. 300 rupees per person. And then it struck me, and I've tried to explain that in several books, but it really was a lesson I learned from those villagers. The emancipatory value of a basic income is greater than the money value. If those of you who are economists here might be able to understand that. And the reason is this: in the low-income communities, money is a scarce commodity. And anybody who knows basic economics will know that if a commodity is scarce, the price goes up. So the villagers said there's one group in our communities which hate your scheme. They hate it. I said, we can't make everybody happy. And then they told us which group it was. It's the money lenders, they said. I said, I'm very sorry. And the reason is the price of money came down and they were reacting to their own liquidity and a sense of being slightly more in control of their lives. I was listening to the agricultural discussion. Why don't you trust people? They increased agricultural output. They increased the fertilizers. They bought seeds. They were selling more. They were making more income even though the prices went down because they were producing more. So you're setting up a dynamic which is actually very feasible. And what is wonderful in this country is you have the fiscal space to do this without affecting public health or public education. We should all believe in those things.